You're all very welcome back to another WEDPREP Podcast by WeddingSuppliers.ie. You can follow us on Spotify and YouTube and anywhere that you get your podcasts. In the studio today, we have Courtney Cullen from Ceili Cottage. Hello, Courtney.
Hi, Carl.
Great.
Nice tongue twister for you.
Oh, yeah, that was a real WEDPREP Podcast, WeddingSuppliers.ie. And look at this, we have some live music today. You're going to play, yeah, we'll get something in. So Courtney, you're Ceili Cottage, and you predominantly do pre-dinners, ceremony, day twos, and it's all fundamentally trad music, is it?
Yeah, Irish trad music, some folk kind of ballads, whiskey in the jar, all your kind of come-all-yous, sing-alongs, drinking songs, really.
Drinking songs
to get the party going. Yeah.
So how does it work then on the instrumentation? Because I suppose that's the big question if someone's going to book Ceili Cottage. How, like, 2-piece, 3-piece, 4-piece, is it expandable? Can you reduce it down? Yeah, so
there's 6 of us core. So we have guitar, singer, banjo, myself on fiddle, accordion, uilleann pipes, and bodhrán. So you can kind of mix and match. Like, we have couples coming and they're having their ceremony and their great-grandfather played the uilleann pipes and they want the uilleann pipes, and we'll sort that out. We'll make sure that the uilleann pipes is on that gig. Or someone might say, oh, I want a 3-piece, I don't mind, we just want a high energy vibe. So then we'd go, okay, well, the best thing we think for this is our guitarist, our fiddle and our accordion. And we say, does that work for you? Oh no, actually, could you put on a bodhrán? Yeah, cool, we'll throw that on.
Great, yeah. Because often the thing that we talk about here is a lot of people, it's their first journey getting married and they don't know sometimes really what they want. So you can kind of, when someone comes to you and say, well, look, we want to book you, is it often the question is, we don't know really what we want, or we think we know, we want a fiddle or a bodhrán, or what's the best combination that you would think for, let's talk about ceremony music. Okay, so if you're doing ceremony music, what would be the recommendation?
So I always say a 2-piece is enough for a ceremony. So we do guitar and fiddle. So with guitar, singer and fiddle. And just that way, it's a little bit more diverse. It's not just trad then. So we can do instrumental covers of like the pop numbers and stuff as well, as well as doing like a lively jig and reel when you exit, that's the fun part. But for your entrance, you want something a bit more gentle a lot of the time. So like either a nice little air or something from the pop realm, like we get, a bit of the Cranberries or a bit of, I don't know, just.
And would you do the likes of the ceremony, like the canon and D, and because I suppose when you and it's, in fairness, the acoustic guitar and the fiddle would be the best combination. And would you be ever asked to bring in a singer? Can you do that as well for the ceremony part of it?
Yeah, so our guitarist, he sings, so we can add in for that. But we've also worked with, if someone is like, oh, I love such and such singer, like we've worked with Olivia Romeo, we've worked with Niamh Hogan, we've worked with Lauren Tynan. Like
brilliant, so you can bring them in.
We can bring them in, it's very open. I suppose the absolute joy of trad music is everyone grew up playing sessions, right? So you walk into a pub, you meet 10 new people and you play with them. Yeah. There's no rehearsals, there's no
that's the
practice.
thing, yeah.
Everyone plays by ear, and everyone's like, improvisation and adaptability is massive when it comes to trad music. So we don't work off charts, we don't have sheet music, we don't need that kind of arrangement like a string quartet might need.
It's not restricted.
It's not restricted. And then it means things like, for your ceremony, for example, if someone's walking down the aisle, when you get to the end of the aisle, we finish up based on eye contact. So it's very much like, okay, and now repeat that last line. It might be just a nose flick or something. Like, it's all kind of telepathical. And it's just ingrained in you over years of just, since I was 5 or 6, you're sat with your tin whistle in a session and you play along.
And that's where and if we can backtrack to your own history of getting into trad, I mean, where did that all start for you?
So my mum played music. She's from Offaly, and she's one of 11 children.
Wow,
and she's one of the youngest ones. So her older siblings learned music. But she was always really jealous and used to like steal their notes and steal their music and things like that. So, and enter herself into flagyoles and all this. She was just mad for it. So when she had us, I have 3 sisters and all 4 of us were put into music. So we went to the local cultist branch, and I learned classical. So I trained in the Royal Irish Academy of Music, and just, it was just always there between orchestras, flagyole, group of kyoles, Ceili bands.
And you really just took to it. And your siblings, did they all take to it?
So my younger sister's in Ceili Cottage. She's our piper, Lottie.
All right, great.
So she's concertina and pipes. so she took to it, and she toured with some of the River Dreams productions, which are a spin-off of Riverdance. So she's always been in it. Now, the two older ones, they didn't stay with it, but we forced them at Christmas to take out the fiddles and play.
So look, you touch off an array of, so you do your ceremony, you do your pre-dinner drinks, and you do your day twos as well. So could we just talk about the timeline? So so the ceremony generally anyway, do you find yourself, if we stay on ceremony for a minute, is it predominantly in the venue now, or is it in the church, or is it a good mix match between both?
I'd say we still see 50-50 now.
50-50, yeah.
Like it used to be a lot more church ceremonies, but it's brought back down. I'd say 50-50 now.
Yeah.
I'd say it could even be less nationwide. It's probably closer to 40,
yeah.
60, but what I've seen is about 50-50.
And the ambience of the church and the acoustics, I suppose.
I love it.
Isn't it? There is a nicer touch to it,
Yeah.
and the feel, and the architecture's already in place and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the pre-dinner stuff. So do you often combine? So someone books you for a ceremony, can they book you for the pre-dinner? Because you often see that as well. So you can do both on the same day.
Yeah, like that'd be a big take-home tip from me is whoever you're booking for your ceremony, find out about their drinks receptions packages. 9 out of 10 times, your supplier will do ceremony and drinks.
Yeah.
You'll save money. They'll be able to work more that day, so they won't just be doing a ceremony and going home. Everyone wins, know. So big take-home. Now, I know some people, you're going to maybe want a different vibe. So you might want some, you might have your heart set on a string quartet for your ceremony, but then you want to liven it up and you want a trad group come in. Absolutely, go for that.
Yeah,
but,
brilliant. Yeah.
But do scope it out, like ask them, do you do packages that you'll do more? Or even like a big thing for us, it's a new offering that we did in the last year, and I absolutely love it. We do after dinner Ceilis. So after you've finished your meal, now it's not the main band, it's not taking over your evening. So before your main band or DJ, whatever you've done.
The little lull that sometimes we talk about.
The little lull we talk about, that people say you don't need to fill, you don't have to fill, fine. But this is a way, I find it particularly brilliant if you have a mixed guest list. So if people don't really know each other, this is my absolute favourite. It's like an icebreaker. We actually do it in corporations, in going into companies and doing it for them for icebreakers. But the Ceili. So we have 2 Irish dancers. They come out and do a step. So you get this show stop for, if you have international guests or if it's a destination wedding. And they're like, wow, this Irish dancing. And then we bring the guests up. So the dancers force you up. And I
brilliant.
mean,
So it's
force you up.
Interaction, that's brilliant.
Interaction. So they'll get the guests up any age, from 90 years of age down to whoever can walk. What age do you start walking at? 4 years of age, 3 years of age.
Everyone's involved.
Everyone's involved. And we do Shoot the Donkey, we do the Walls of Limerick, we do Siege of Venice, we do a big circle dance. They're easy steps. The dancers Ceili call, which just means they're going and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and out 2, 3. It's to live music. As they get the steps, we ramp up the music till everyone's swinging and going wild. And then we also do the brush dance.
I was just, this was in my head. And I'm going to ask her about the brush dance. Tell us about the brush dance. Because I haven't a clue. Where did it originate and what is it? And what's the concept of it?
So my understanding, and there's probably some proper folklore out there that'll tell me I'm saying it wrong, but it's from people dancing in their kitchens at home. So that's where Ceilis came from, is your kitchen parties. So back years and years ago, there'd be live music in the kitchens, people coming over for a cup of tea, and there's always a sweeping brush in the house.
A bit of putching, maybe.
A bit of putching, all the straw boys, hunting the wren, that kind of time. And the brush dance, you dance around the brush, so it's shannos dancing is where it came from.
Okay.
And it's just like a tool as part of the dance. So you lay the brush down on the floor, you dance around the brush, you jump over and back over the brush doing your steps, and then you loop it in between your legs. And it's just wild.
It's
crack.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I'm thinking now, when you finish your meal and your speeches, and people often speak about that lull. Now, sometimes in that lull, people are delighted to have a little bit of a break. But I think your fit here is really nice because there's not a big, huge setup. You come in with your instruments, your dancers, because you don't really need a big PA system or lighting or anything like that.
No, it's not like that. So we'll have our speakers and we'll have enough to fill the room.
Yes.
But it's not about a performance. It's not about the music. It's about the dancing. So it's just to give you a beat and give you kind of this raw feeling and energy. So it's like if we were to do a big production of it, it loses that rawness and the energy out of it. But with the brush dance, so I always ask the couple, do you guys want to do it? And like, I love when they say yes, because if the bride and groom are on that dance floor, the rest of the floor is filled.
Involved. Yeah,
Nobody's out at the bar, nobody's out the back having a smoke. Everyone's in watching it. Like,
yeah, and experiencing.
and then that segues. So we work with the band that are setting up next, or the DJ if you're not having a conventional band, so that when the Ceili's over and we have everyone switch over, and we'll be on different sides of the room, so the band or the DJ can come in immediately.
Great, I like that.
And you have your floor filled. There's no
I really
trying
like
to start
that
again.
And then for timelines, so day 2 now, right, really popular. And before we jump to the day 2s, like trad is back, trad is hip now. And what do you think is kind of driving that whole trad to come back, especially within weddings? It's just massive now. Everybody wants a piece of trad.
I know. Well, like, I'll tell you, like, I used to go to school and I'd be hiding my fiddle under my school jacket, like, going to school, because we're so embarrassed. Like, it wasn't cool. Like, it just wasn't. Or at least when I was going to school as a teenage girl, it was not cool. But yeah, huge resurgence of it. I think a combination of things. Like, I think Chase and Abby kind of flicked in a little bit. People kind of got excited about that on TikTok. Wolf tones are massive. Mary Wallopers are huge.
And then you have the whistling donkeys and all these within,
all that, tumbling paddies, everyone's kind of, it's really popular. But I think now, this is just speculation, but I think because so many people have emigrated, right? And I know we always talk about people have emigrated, they've been emigrating forever. But people are now, they might be like a long time away and they just want to keep touching roots. And I don't know if you've seen on TikTok at the moment, this big resurgence of everyone whipping out their tin whistles from, I learned this when I was 10 and they're playing it online.
I know, it's hip, and it's funny you say about like hiding your fiddle. I often tell a joke about accordion player, and I don't want any accordion players to get offended by this, but I met a very famous accordion player from Ireland, I don't want to say his name, on a stag one night. And my father told me this joke about accordion. He said this guy had an accordion in the back of his car. He pulled up outside the shop to run in and get a packet of smokes. And he came out, and the back window of his car was broke. He's gone, oh no, my accordion's gone. And when he looked in, there was another accordion beside it.
I'd say it was piano accordion.
But anyway, and that's it. And I don't think it's a trend. I don't think it's a fad. I think trad is here to stay, and it's great to go back to our roots and feel trad. There's nothing more energetic, even going into a pub and just hearing trad music, and it's just back. Even in my local here, you go in and there's just people sitting in the corner, and obviously being minute, there's all the students, and it's brilliant, you know. And then, but if we just jump forward to day 2, so out of all the ceremony pre-dinner and that little lull part, which I love, the day 2 now is massive, and that's probably huge for you as well. So you're performing to people that are predominantly probably hungover, right? So talk about timelines across ceremony pre-dinner. The lull obviously is just after the meal, but for day 2, how does it all work?
So day 2, this is probably the biggest question we get asked when we get booked to do a day 2. I'd say, what time? You know, what time do you want your music at? They say, oh God, I don't know. We haven't thought about it yet. Absolutely fine. We're not in a rush to push you into a time frame. But what I would say always to look at, who are your guests? Who are staying on for the day 2? Is it mainly kind of an older family, aunts and uncles and stuff like that? Maybe they'll want to get going a bit earlier because they're going to want to be in bed by 10 o'clock. Or is it the college crew that have flown in or that have travelled in? They're going to go raring again that night. You're having a DJ afterwards or whatever. I'd be saying maybe 7 to 9 or 8 to 10. Get your trad music going. Get your food earlier. Let everyone, like, how hard did they go the night before?
Everyone's in a different space.
Everyone's in a different space. So look at your guests. Who's likely? I know you might know straight off who's staying for day 2, because we know people are rubbish at RSVPing to the day itself, let alone the day 2. But have a think who you reckon is going to be around the day 2. Are they a young crowd that are going on till 2 a.m?
And would you go into this with the couple just to kind of get a feel for it and a sense for it? If the couple do decide to book you, would you go into kind of, for you to have an understanding of who's going to be there? Or is that just the kind of typical answer you'd give, or it's a typical question the couple would ask you?
It's a typical question. It's if it's asked. I don't bombard people with
I want to know their names.
No.
But the timeline generally around 7, you know, you don't want to be going into the twilight zone.
Or we sometimes we have people know that, like, people are staying on for the day 2, but they might be going home that evening. So maybe a lot of their friends have kids, or a lot of their friends, you might be having the wedding on a Saturday and the day 2 is a Sunday, and you know you're going to lose a lot of people who are going to work on Monday. They're going to stay around for a bit of the day 2, get a bit of grub, and then go home.
Yeah.
That's when you bring in the music earlier, and then you might get them, oh God, we stay on a little longer.
Yeah,
it
does.
So,
and it just creates a really lovely atmosphere as well. And I suppose then, what about people with all the instrumentation? Do you ever have people wanting to kind of get up and rob your fiddle, and give us a go at that?
Yes. So, brilliant question. This is my absolute favourite, and we ask this all the time.
Right.
Do you have anyone that wants to do a party piece? Does Uncle John want to get up and sing The Voyage? Does your sister Mary play the Bowron?
Yeah.
We'll get them up, and that is the best way, including the drinks reception actually
Yeah.
as well. It's a great time.
And you have no problem with people getting
Oh no, anyone can play this fiddle if they like. We have whistles in the bags. People can join us. Like in the past, we've had a groom on the banjo joining us for his day 2. Like he specifically booked us so he could have a session for his day 2.
Brilliant.
And his granduncle joined us on the pipes. He was actually a savage piper. It was a great day. And we've had Bowrons and flutes join us, and then for the song. So we'll accompany anyone that gets up and sings the song.
And that brings a bit of buzz. Everyone gets involved then as well.
Yeah. We've had a bride before get up and sing Zombie with us, and like the whole of her crowd like cheering her on. And they might want, like, I know some people, you're used to the wedding bands. Sometimes you might have someone getting up and singing with the wedding band. But that can be sometimes a bit overwhelming for people on the night, or they might have had a few and they don't want to get up.
Yeah.
A day 2, bring them up with us, like when they're a little bit shook from the drink. And
listen, travel-wise, I mean, you travel pretty much all around nationally, do you? Or are you?
We used to, Cathal. It is 2025 this summer. I don't even know how we're going to get through it. It is busy, because you said trad is popular. So we've pulled ourselves back to Leinster.
Okay.
Or Leinster surrounding. So we'll travel up to 2 hours. But we have so many great recommended suppliers in other parts of the country.
You can arrange it.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
so if people are stuck, reach out. Like,
that's great to know.
Ceili Cottage is always open. And like I said, like I've been playing since I've been, and over the years going to flackyos all around the country, I'd say I know musicians in every single county.
Yeah.
Like it's such a
and
small
isn't that
network
great
when
about
you're
the network as well? You have that reach to bring people in. Where I know, like say with a wedding band, for example, it's kind of just one band, and you know we spoke about this, and you have the front person. But with the trad, you have people in every corner of Ireland that you would know, that you would recommend, and you'd stand over them, obviously. You know, so you have that reach of it. And do you find is there plentiful, or do you find it difficult to get that reach of people if you're doing the recommendation?
It really depends what people are looking for. So, like, say if they're like, I'm getting married in Kerry, I have my heart set on an uilleann pipes player.
Yeah, so they'd be rare enough, would they?
Yeah, and I'd have 3 or 4 I could recommend. And if you're getting married on a Saturday, you'll have that uilleann piper. But like a lot of people in trad music mightn't be full time.
Yes,
so they're in work Monday to Friday. They might be school teachers, they might be nurses, they might be doctors, they might whatever. They could have a 9 to 5. So, you know, if you have your heart set on it, you might be disappointed in that sense. But absolutely, I'll do my best. I'd say I know.
Great.
I'd say I'm probably one of the only people. There's a few people in Ireland. I'd say I know about 50 uilleann pipers. Like,
wow, that's brilliant.
Is that a flex?
Well, look, you brought the fiddle, right? So before we finish up, do you want to give us a little snip of something?
Sure. Okay, so I will play. I had to think there. I'll play Raglan Road.
Oh, lovely.
Because that's quite a popular one for the ceremonies. And then I'll give you a bit of a reel.
Brilliant.
I won't play for long.
No, let's do it. Look, Courtney, it's been lovely having you on the podcast. That is Courtney Cullen, ladies and gentlemen, from Ceili Cottage. And all you've got to do is Google Ceili Cottage. You'll pop up. You're also on WeddingSuppliers.ie as well. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Cathal. Great.
Hey! Excellent. Courtney, thank you very much for coming in. Excellent, brilliant.